On April 17, 2003, Park Ranger Thomas Whitley was conducting a routine patrol in the remote eastern region of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park in Tennessee when he noticed something unusual, a column of smoke rising from a valley that, according to all official records, should have been uninhabited. The area, known locally as Hollow Creek Basin, had been part of government-acquired land since the 1940s. What Ranger Whitley couldn't have known was that his discovery would unravel one of the most bizarre cases in Tennessee's history, a case involving a family that officially didn't exist. The Mercer family had once been documented residents of the Appalachian region, descendants of early European settlers who arrived in the late 1700s. According to county records from Morgan County, the last official documentation of any Mercer family member was in 1952, when Elijah Mercer, born in 1872, was presumed deceased at the age of 80. With no registered births, deaths, or property records since then, the family line was considered extinct by genealogists and local historians. The weather that spring day was unseasonably warm, with clear skies and temperatures reaching 78 degrees. This unusual clarity allowed Ranger Whitley to spot the smoke from over 2 miles away. Following established protocol for potential illegal campsites, Whitley radioed his position to headquarters before proceeding on foot toward the source of the smoke. He never reached his destination. When Ranger Whitley failed to check in at the scheduled time of 4:30 p.m., park authorities initiated standard search procedures. By nightfall, with no radio contact established, the search was escalated. Rangers found Whitley's vehicle parked at Clingman's Dome Road, but there was no sign of the experienced ranger. A comprehensive search involving park personnel, local law enforcement, and volunteers commenced at first light the following day. 3 days into the search, on April 20th, a search team discovered Whitley's radio, broken and abandoned approximately 1.7 miles from his vehicle. More concerning was the presence of what appeared to be a deliberately laid false trail, leading away from the actual direction of the smoke Whitley had reported. This discovery transformed a missing person case into a potential criminal investigation. If you want to follow more cases like this, which shake entire communities and reveal hidden truths, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any investigation. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, TBI, took over the case on April 21, 2003, working alongside the National Park Service law enforcement rangers. Special Agent Miranda Holbrook was assigned as lead investigator. A veteran with 15 years of experience, Holbrook had specialized in cases involving remote Appalachian communities and was familiar with the complex social dynamics of the region. What immediately struck me as unusual was the calculated nature of the false trail, Holbrook later stated in an interview. This wasn't just someone trying to hide their tracks. This suggested knowledge of search procedures and tactics. The initial investigation focused on illegal activities in the park, with theories ranging from moonshine operations to methamphetamine production. Both were known issues in the more remote areas of Tennessee. However, aerial reconnaissance on April 23rd revealed something far more significant: evidence of long-term habitation in Hollow Creek Basin. Thermal imaging identified what appeared to be multiple structures concealed under the forest canopy, approximately 3.2 miles from where Whitley's radio had been found. Due to the rugged terrain and concerns about potential hostility, the TBI organized a carefully planned approach. On April 25th, a team of 12, including TBI agents, park rangers, and a medical examiner, entered Hollow Creek Basin from multiple directions. What they discovered defied all expectations. Hidden within the valley, deliberately obscured from aerial view, was a settlement consisting of 7 primitive cabins arranged in a circular pattern. The structures showed evidence of decades of continuous habitation, with additions and repairs using a combination of traditional techniques and repurposed modern materials. Solar panels, stolen from park facilities over the years, provided minimal electricity. The settlement was occupied by 23 individuals, ranging in age from infants to elderly. More shocking than their hidden existence was their reaction to the authorities. Not hostility, but resignation. According to Agent Holbrook's report, an elderly man who identified himself as Joseph Mercer, aged 76, simply said, "We figured you'd find us eventually." Initial interviews revealed a startling truth. This was indeed the supposedly extinct Mercer family, who had deliberately removed themselves from official records in 1952 and continued living in isolation for over 50 years. However, the investigation soon uncovered disturbing aspects of this isolation. DNA samples collected with consent showed extreme genetic homogeneity within the group. Medical examinations revealed numerous health issues consistent with consanguineous breeding over multiple generations. According to Dr. Eleanor Reynolds, the medical examiner present during the initial contact, the level of genetic disorders and congenital abnormalities observed in this population is consistent with extensive inbreeding over at least 4 to 5 generations. The investigation faced significant obstacles, primarily related to establishing legal identities. None of the Mercers born after 1952 had birth certificates, social security numbers, or any form of official identification. This created jurisdictional complications and raised profound questions about citizenship and rights. Additionally, many family members spoke an archaic dialect that combined Elizabethan English with unique terminology, making communication challenging even for linguists familiar with Appalachian speech patterns. As for Ranger Whitley, he was found alive on April 26, being held in one of the cabins. He had sustained a concussion from a fall during a pursuit, but had received basic care from the family. According to his statement, he had been intercepted before reaching the settlement and knocked unconscious when he fled from 2 men who suddenly appeared on the trail. The family had apparently debated his fate, with some arguing for more drastic measures and others insisting on providing care. By May 2003, as investigators gained the trust of the Mercer family, a remarkable history began to emerge. The decision to disappear had been made by Elijah Mercer in the early 1950s, prompted by increasing government presence in the region and the establishment of expanded park boundaries. Rather than relocate, the family chose to hide in plain sight, deliberately fabricating their own extinction. Over the following decades, the Mercers developed elaborate systems to maintain their isolation. They created warning systems throughout the forest, established observation points to monitor park activities, and developed strict protocols for any necessary interaction with the outside world. These interactions were limited to carefully planned night excursions to obtain essential supplies that couldn't be produced within the settlement. Perhaps most remarkable was their information management system. Through occasional covert visits to public spaces and limited access to discarded newspapers and magazines, the Mercers maintained a distorted but functional awareness of major world events. They knew of presidential changes, the moon landing, and even the 9/11 attacks, though their understanding was filtered through their isolated worldview and oral tradition. The most disturbing revelation came in June 2003, when anthropologists studying the family's genealogical records discovered a deliberate program of selective breeding. According to journals kept by Elijah Mercer and continued by his descendants, the family believed they possessed pure bloodlines dating back to nobility in England. The practice of consanguineous marriage was not merely accepted, but actively encouraged to preserve special traits believed to exist within the family. This deliberate inbreeding had resulted in serious health consequences. Medical examinations revealed that 78% of the family members exhibited conditions associated with genetic disorders, including polydactyly, intellectual disabilities, and rare recessive conditions. Despite these issues, the family had developed their own medical practices, combining traditional Appalachian folk remedies with information gleaned from medical texts obtained during their infrequent contacts with the outside world. In July 2003, archaeological examination of the settlement revealed evidence that the family's isolation predated even their official disappearance in 1952. Artifacts suggested that the Mercers had maintained significant separation from mainstream society since at least the late 1800s, with the 1952 decision representing merely a formalization of their existing lifestyle. Leave in the comments, never give up on the truth if you believe all missing persons deserve to be found. The Mercer case presented unprecedented legal and ethical challenges. The adults had chosen their isolation, but the children, who comprised nearly half the group, had never been given a choice. They lacked education, medical care, and any form of legal identity. After extensive consultation with experts in ethics, law, and social services, a unique resolution was implemented in August 2003. The settlement was not immediately disbanded. Instead, a gradual integration program was established. Solar power was properly installed, basic medical care was provided on site, and educators began teaching both children and adults. The goal was to prepare them for eventual full integration while respecting their cultural autonomy as much as legally possible. By December 2003, the first legal identities were established for all family members. This process required special intervention from the Tennessee state government, with birth certificates created based on family records and medical estimates of age. Social security numbers were issued, allowing access to benefits and services. The case sparked national debate about the balance between cultural autonomy and child welfare. It also led to significant revisions in how national parks monitor remote areas, with new protocols developed specifically to identify potential long-term habitation. For the Mercers, integration proved challenging but not impossible. By 2008, most of the younger generation had chosen to live in mainstream society, though many maintained connections to their family's unique heritage. The older members largely remained in the settlement, which was eventually granted special status through a complex legal arrangement with the National Park Service. The most profound legacy of the case was its impact on how we understand American history. The Mercer family demonstrated that even in the modern era, it was possible for an entire community to exist outside official records. As historian Dr. James Thornton noted in his 2010 book on the case, the Mercer family forces us to question our assumptions about the completeness of historical records and the reach of government documentation. How many other extinct families might still exist in the shadows of our society? Today, the former Mercer settlement serves as a carefully managed historical site, accessible only through guided educational tours. The family's journals and artifacts are preserved in the Tennessee State Museum, providing a unique window into an alternative American experience, one that existed parallel to, but separate from, recorded history. In 2015, a genetic study of the surviving Mercers identified several previously unknown genetic markers, contributing valuable data to medical research on inherited conditions. In this way, a family that deliberately removed itself from society ultimately made unexpected contributions to human knowledge. If you watch this far, it's because you care about these cases that mark families forever. Leave a comment saying, "I watched until the end," so I can get to know you and know who really cares about the search for truth. Like this video and share it with someone who appreciates the complexity of human stories that challenge our understanding of society and history.